Hello, hi, hey. Okay, so I'm gonna do a video about what is Scientology. Now, I think if you have found my channel, you probably already know this, but just in case you don't know what is Scientology and you're curious, this is a video for you. Now, if you were to ask a Scientologist what is Scientology, they would probably try to sell you a book, or they might ask you to come and take a free personality test, which will result in them trying to sell you a book or maybe a course. Or they'll try to sell you some spiritual counseling. Or maybe they'll tell you it's an applied religious philosophy. Yeah, they're not going to tell you what Scientology is. Why? Because L. Ron Hubbard, the guy who made up Scientology, he said, don't answer their questions, sell them a book. So I'm going to answer the question, what is Scientology? I will answer it to the best of my ability and knowledge. I am not an expert in Scientology. I will circle back to that later. I was, however, born into Scientology. I am a second gen. Basically, I was born in Scientology. I was raised in Scientology. I spent more than half my life in Scientology. I'm not an expert, and I will get back to that later, but I will try to explain what is Scientology. And I'm gonna keep it super basic and as accurate as possible. And if you're a Scientologist and you think this is not accurate, please email me or comment below, and you'll find my email in the channel description. And if you're an ex-Scientologist and you think this is not accurate, please correct me. And yeah, I will take all that criticism, no problem. All right, let's start. We're going to start with the three important components of Scientology. What is Scientology? Three basic things to understand. And the first thing is super simple. It's a body. This is a body. We all have bodies. There's nothing weird about that. Everybody's got a body. Important note in Scientology, you have a body. You are not a body. All right. You also have this thing called a mind. Everybody knows what a mind is, right? Scientology has a little bit of its own definition for mind. They do take words and make up their own definitions for it. But I'm going to draw it like this. The mind. Mind is basically a recording of everything that happens to you. It's all your memories. They're all recorded, your memories, like a 3D camera that also takes up sight, of course, camera, sound and smells and emotions, taste. Yeah, anyways, it's all your memories. It's all your memories stored up. Your body does not have a mind, but you do. You have a mind. So if you are not a body and you are not a mind, what are you? You're a Thetan, according to Scientology. It looks like a sun. I drew it the way I draw a sun. It's not a sun. When I was little, it was always depicted or animated as like a shining light. So there you go. Thetan. That's the Scientology word for what you might say is a soul or spirit. But in Scientology, they say Thetan because they do not want to be confused with other religions that speak of souls or spirits. And Hubbard, the guy who invented Scientology, he has a reason for calling it a Thetan, which I don't remember anymore and really doesn't matter. That's not important. That's just bits and ends. These are the main concepts of Scientology to start with. I'm getting there. Okay, you are a Thetan. You have a mind and you have a body. A Thetan is an immortal spiritual being that has all sorts of superpowers. Like, if you've seen Guardians of the Galaxy 2. If you haven't, skip over about 30 seconds. Spoilers. Star-Lord's dad. It's a pretty good example of what Thetan's powers supposedly are. Anyways, okay, so you're a Thetan, you have all these sorts of powers, and you're immortal, and you have a mind with all the memories, and you have a body. A body is not immortal. A body lives 60, 70, 80, 90, maybe 100 years. It's not immortal. In fact, it's the opposite of immortal. It's got pretty high mortality rate looking at history. And so why do we have a body? What's the point? And what does the mind do? Okay, so basically, you're the Thetan. A body is born. You occupy the body. You live a lifetime. Throughout that lifetime, you're recording memories in your mind. The body gets to 100 years old and dies. You leave the body. A new body is born. You occupy the new body. You live a lifetime in the new body. You record all the memories in the mind. The body dies. You leave that body. You occupy a new body. And so on it goes, round and round and round for all eternity. Basically, Scientologists believe in life after death, as in reincarnation, as in coming back, possessing a new body. They believe we have lived for thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of lifetimes already, and not only on this planet. It's a big universe. We could have been anywhere. But what's the point? Okay, so we're going to get into two things. We're going to get into the Thetan being stuck in bodies in a little bit, but first we're going to get into the mind. The mind in Scientology is split into two parts. I'm just going to rub all this out. That sounds kind of dirty. Sorry. Just going to erase that. And I'm going to do a little drawing here. Oh boy. I forgot how to spell. I'm sorry, guys. I was raised in a cult. Reactive. All right. Your mind has two parts, your analytical mind and your reactive mind. Now, we're going to talk a lot about the reactive mind. We're not going to talk so much about the analytical mind because it doesn't really matter. Your analytical mind is just like all your memories, and you use your analytical mind to be creative and solve problems and so on and so forth, and it doesn't really matter. In Scientology, what we're interested in is the reactive mind. Now, remember I said the Thetan lives lots and lots and lots of lifetimes. The mind is connected to the Thetan. The mind follows the Thetan through all the different bodies of different lifetimes. And so you have these memories that go back all your lifetimes, all of them. And the reactive mind, so the analytical mind records all the regular or good memories, I guess you could say. The reactive mind records all your bad memories. So moments of pain, moments of loss and grief, despair, trauma, especially moments of unconsciousness. All that gets stored in the reactive mind. And these memories can be triggered, and they're called engrams. So a memory in the reactive mind is called an engram, and they can be triggered. And the triggering of your engrams affect you in this lifetime, even if the engram, the memory in the reactive mind happened many lifetimes ago. Okay, so for an example, let's say I was a knight, a crusader maybe, I don't know, a knight. And I was jousting, and I got a lance through my stomach while I was jousting or fighting, whatever. And that gets recorded as in I got this pain, this physical trauma of being stuck through the stomach. And let's say when that happens, somebody says something in that moment, or there's a particular smell in the air. maybe it's the smell of new baked donuts, or maybe somebody says something like, gotcha, right? Gotcha. Okay. So let's say I'm walking around in the park today and there's some kids playing tag, and the guy that's it is running and he catches up with the other kid and tags him and says, gotcha. And all of a sudden, I have a stomach ache. Why do I have a stomach ache? Because that word triggered this engram from lifetimes ago, maybe 1,000 years ago. I don't know. How long ago were the nights? A long time ago. Okay. So, gotcha was said at that time that this was recorded, and now it's a trigger word. And now I'm walking in the park and some kids are playing tag, and my stomach hurts like really bad, like I got a lance through it. Or maybe it was the smell of new baked donuts. Guys, in Scientology, you're not allowed to wear perfume because they're like, oh, that can trigger things. Or it can become part of an engram if you happen to get hurt while you're in Scientology and somebody's wearing perfume. This is a weird tangent. I'm kind of tired. This is happening. Okay. So you can have engrams that get triggered and they cause you pain and suffering today in this lifetime. So maybe your stomach is hurting, or you're having a headache, or you're feeling nervous, or you're feeling depressed, or you're just weirdly sad, or you have a strange phobia. All this stuff is not your fault. It's your reactive mind being triggered. Okay. So what is the goal of Scientology? The goal is, in part, to begin with, to erase the reactive mind. We want to get rid of it, right? We want to just erase all the things that can be triggered. And we also want to become operating Thetans. So the Thetan is the soul, and you want it to operate well. Now, the Thetan is supposed to be immortal and have awesome superpowers, but doesn't. And why doesn't it? And what can we do? Like, can we restore those powers? The goal of Scientology is to erase reactive mind and to give you back your immortal being superpowers, right? So to do this, you're going to do something called the bridge. It's called the bridge to total freedom. And basically, it used to be drawn like a bridge, but it's not. It's just a chart now. It looks kind of like this. And you're going to have on one side auditing, which is what they call their spiritual counseling. And you're going to have on the other side training, which is where you learn how to give spiritual counseling. And the bridge is divided into lots of steps. Scientology is a pay-to-play religion, and you want to level up because leveling up is fun. It's got lots of steps. All right, like that. And I am here on the bridge. I never finished any bridge steps. This is why I say I'm not an expert at Scientology. I also have forgotten a lot of stuff because I've been out for a while. But yeah, this is why I usually say I'm not an expert. I am nowhere on the bridge. I haven't finished a single step on this side or on this side. Right. But you want to do the bridge if you're a Scientologist. And most people focus on the auditing part. Some people will do the training as well. And technically you're supposed to do them, parallel, side by side, going up. But most people, they just do the auditing. They want their own spiritual freedom first. Put the gas mask on first before you help others, I guess. Similar thought pattern. All right. When you get about halfway, which is here, you achieve the state of clear. Clear is when you've erased the reactive mind. It is all gone. That's the state of clear. That's about halfway up. I usually say it's about halfway up. It's not really. There are like a lot of steps above as well, and it looks longer. And also there are unreleased steps at the top that are never going to be released. And if you think they are, tell me why you think that. Okay. Now, You're going up the bridge, you're paying for money. I mean, it's totally worth it, right? It's spiritual freedom we're talking about, and superpowers. Who doesn't want superpowers? You get clear, you erase your reactive mind, you can no longer be triggered. You're never going to be sick again. You're never going to have phobias. You're never going to be weirdly nervous or depressed or upset about anything. That is what they say. Then you're going to move up here. You're going to do your operating Thetan levels. Right now, you can do 1 through 8. Supposedly, there's up to 15, and 9 and 10 are going to be released any day now for the last 20 years. So these are the operating Thetan levels. And up here, as I said, I'm down here. And in this video, I'm really only going to get into what I knew as a Scientologist. And this is what I knew about the operating Thetan levels. That up here, we're going to find out, why did we inhabit bodies in the first place? It's like a huge limitation. If you're an immortal being and you're just going to occupy a very mortal body that has 0 superpowers, why would you do that? Why are we occupying bodies? Why are we stuck in our bodies? Because like we're not leaving our bodies, right? Like we have to wait for it to die, and then we go out, and then we just automatically get sucked back into a new body. Why can we not remember what happens? Why can we not remember our previous lifetimes? And why did like all our memories of our previous lifetimes get erased in between the death of one body and the birth of the next? We're going to find out up here. And we're going to reach like this level up here, and you're going to suddenly be able to remember all your lifetimes. You're going to have total past recall. Your memories aren't going to be erased in between lifetimes. And you're going to get like higher up, and you're going to be able to go exterior, which is to leave your body. And you're going to be able to do that at will, as in you can just decide to leave your body. So I'm here in Sweden, and if I were, an operating Thetan, I could just plonk my body down on the sofa, and then I'd take a trip over to Florida, where my mom is still in Scientology and working every single day, and I could check in on her if I was an operating Thetan, right? That's what we're going to learn up here. Now, after I left Scientology, I learned a whole lot about what we find out up here. And it's a lot of fun. It's kind of sad. It's kind of sad that it's so funny. But I'm not going to go into it, because this is really just a basic, what is Scientology? And if you ask Scientologists like about, you say some of the stuff that you find out here, most of them will not know. They will not know. Because remember, it's a pay to play religion, and a lot of people just barely make it to clear, or maybe a couple steps up. A lot of people don't know this. I have the internet. I know Scientologists do too, but they don't really use it the way they should. I have the internet, so I know what's up here now. But I didn't know that when I was in Scientology. So basically, yeah, you're an immortal spiritual being with all these superpowers, but you're stuck being born in bodies lifetime after lifetime, and you can't remember your previous lives, and you have no superpowers, and you don't know why, and you keep getting triggered. And Scientology is gonna fix that. Now, I get that there's some appeal to that, right? Like, oh, it's not my fault that I always get headaches because it's an engram in my reactive mind. It's not my fault I have stage fright. That's probably something that happened to me in a previous lifetime. I can just pay some money, get some auditing, spiritual counseling, and cure that. I get the appeal, and I get why that sounds interesting. But fair warning, Scientology is a cult. And I have videos where I talk about how Scientology is a cult. And I grew up in Scientology, and I spent more than half my life in Scientology, and it has nearly destroyed me. It has seriously hurt me in many ways. It has hurt my family. It has hurt my psychological mental health. I was doing labor from the age of 8 in Scientology's C organization. Scientology is a cult. So I know it sounds good. I know it sounds promising. I know it sounds interesting or exciting. but watch out for it. Okay? All right. So that is what is Scientology? And the answer no Scientologist will ever give you because they'll try to sell you a book instead. Okay. I hope you found this interesting. If you have questions that you would like to ask, something you want me to explain, let me know in the comments. I will do my very best to explain it. There are many other YouTubers that explain Scientology much better than I do, in my personal opinion. You can find them all at sptv.space. SP stands for suppressive person, which is the label Scientology gives to anybody who speaks out against Scientology. sptv.space. So, yeah, there you go. Thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day. Take care of your mental health. And don't be culty. Don't join Scientology. Bye.